What is the crack? My name is the Rusty Bartender. Welcome to the channel. Today's episode, we're going to be looking at what is Potcheen. Before we start this tasting, it's 17 days until St. Patrick's Day, and I'm going to be making an Irish cocktail every single day right up until the 17th of March. Some of them will be featuring Potcheen, some of them won't. Some of them are cocktails that you might not even have heard of before. But they are all Irish cocktails. Let's go. Now, first things first, the pronunciation. It is known as Potcheen. See the way it's spelled? You pronounce that P-O-T-C-H-E-E-N. Potcheen. First of all, what the hell is it? It's known as Irish moonshine. It's often seen as the precursor to whiskey. It's typically made from barley, potatoes, or other grains. It was first distilled in Ireland in the 6th century and is often credited to Irish monks who mastered the art of distillation. The name Potcheen comes from the Irish word Poitín, which means pot, and references the pot still used in its production. And this has a bit of a reputation because it was made illegally for centuries due to heavy taxes and bans by the English governments in the 17th century. And I'll tell you a little story too. When I grew up in Belfast in the 1990s, Potcheen was still readily available, the illegal form anyway. Because I remember when I was 16, and I do not condone this, my best friend Mark, who lived around the corner from me at the time, his dad used to hide Potcheen underneath his kitchen sink. And I remember Mark smuggling out a bottle of plum Potcheen one weekend, and we got so wasted off it. And I remember Mark the next day was puking up purple lumps of stuff. Sounds disgusting, but you know, that's what we did back then when we were kids. But as appealing as that sounds, legalized production of this began in the 20th century. Indeed, modern Potcheen is actually seen as a bit of an oxymoron because by its definition, Potcheen is illegal, but the Potcheen that you buy in stores is obviously legalized, standardized, and has to adhere to certain laws and regulations. So it is seen by some as like the ancestor to whiskey because it's obviously made from like a grain, it's malted, but as you will see for yourself, it's a clear spirit. So it's definitely not being aged in barrels like whiskey. So what are you gonna expect when you drink this? You're going to get a lot of earthy, vegetal, sort of grainy flavors from this, and you're going to find it's very sweet compared to a whiskey. In fact, too, if you're going to taste a Potcheen and you're expecting that, oh, it's the ancestor whiskey, you're going to think to yourself, oh, it might taste a little bit like whiskey. It's not going to taste anything like whiskey, and you will be surprised at its taste. In fact, if you've ever tasted like unaged, unrefined whiskey before it goes into a barrel, you're kind of gonna have an idea of what this might taste like. Here we go, some tasting notes. Oh, get this open. Oh, it's a screw top, not a popper. Before we taste it, this is 40% alcohol by volume. It's gonna pack a punch. On the nose, very nutty, very grainy. Very warm. It's gonna warm, you know this is gonna warm you up. Take a wee sip and see what it'll do. Coats your tongue immediately, very warming to the palate. Gives you that little burn. I get a lot of baked bread flavor from that. Very bready, very grainy, but very surprisingly very, very smooth. is good Potcheen. This one is Mad March Hair Potcheen, and surprisingly easy to get here in Australia. If you're new to Potcheen or you've tried it before, let me know in the comments. Have you got any stories about drinking illegal Potcheen back in the day? Let me know. Don't forget guys to subscribe, like the video, and watch out for a new recipe every single day leading up to St. Patrick's Day, March the 17th. Let's go, see you on the next one.